everyone, and welcome back to this edition of The Local. Thank you for tuning in. We have some great stories for you this morning, and we'll be right back after this.
Laura Patton is asking for your vote for Spokane Valley City Council because she believes we deserve to know how our tax dollars are spent. Vote Laura Patton for Spokane Valley City Council, Position 7.
Paid for by the committee to elect Laura Patton.
Connor, I hear you talking about the Northeast Hilliard Farmers Market, and that continues, doesn't it?
Yes, so it starts early in about February, and most people think it kind of ends and dwindles as the summer goes on, but honestly, they get a lot more crops and different sorts of crops. You can get pumpkins and different sorts of...
It is pumpkin time.
Yes,
is
it is.
Halloween coming up or something?
I think so. October 31st.
Okay.
It stays
Watch
pretty
out for the
consistent on that
pumpkin that's
day.
going to drop on your head. I'm kidding.
But as things become more in season, they'll get more things around the fall, like pumpkins and stuff. So you kind of see a dwindling of people showing up, but it's still totally open. A ton of different crops and vegetables. Other local businesses show up there. You can get different bead workers.
Where is this?
It's up in the Hilliard community.
Okay.
It's on North Cook Street. If you want to type into Google Maps, it would be 4001.
Most of us can still do that.
Yeah. Be 4001 on Google Maps, but
yeah.
You'll see it just on the side of the road. You can't really miss it.
Yeah.
And you'll see different workers there with bead working. There's a lot of bag working. There's even some leather working. I went out there the other day.
Okay.
And it was really cool. So if you want to support some local businesses, you can go out there and see some interesting stuff.
And we're here at Spokane Talks all about local business, and I love when we can help promote that and people who work on things. Homeless shelter time. It's getting cool out. It's starting to rain out. And what's coming down the line for housing some folks this winter as we move into winter?
So on Cannon Street, there's always been a shelter that kind of works seasonally, and it'll pop out, I think, in the summer and it'll stop. But this year, they've renewed a contract with the Guardian. Let me see if I can find it right here. The Guardians Foundation.
Okay.
With a $1.85 million contract, and what that's going to do, it's going to keep that shelter open year round. You can pop in at night if you need a place to sleep, and it also opens during the day for people to come through and leave, and you can get 3 meals a day there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They have budgeted to feed everyone 3 meals, and that way they can keep the staff consistent, working year round.
Yes.
So they can form relationships with specific people, so they keep coming back, and they can focus on getting back employed, getting back into leaving their addictions behind, and things like that. So when you can focus on having a meal, having a consistent place to sleep, and you're not worrying about things like that, basic needs, you can actually focus on getting back into the workforce.
We've got, we keep talking about, and we're doing some stories, and you will be doing some stories here coming up too, where you're out talking with the homeless and the effect on businesses and the community and even the people living downtown. Everything is needed, from just getting people off the streets and getting them in a warm bed to the other side that you alluded to, and that is for some fundamental change too, because just giving them a place to sleep and a warm meal, while important, it's the immediate reaction, not the long term. And we need, these are our brothers and sisters out there, and what can we do to help them? And I used to kind of drive by and kind of shake my head going, and then I really realized that they're our brothers, they're our sisters, they're people. We need to provide services that really can help them, get them out of their misery. And you talk to some of these folks, they don't like where they are. They just don't like where they are. So let's hope that this is the beginning of a better year.
A better trajectory. And this Cannon Street shelter has been here for a while, and now with the new staff staying there consistently, we're hoping to be moving in that direction.
I think that's a good move. I think that's a very good move.
I've also been hearing there's been some interesting stuff about the clock tower downtown.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. One of the first things I think all of us see when we come to Spokane are, number one, we all take our friends and relatives to Riverfront Park. And what a blessing to have that updated after 50 years and so forth. But we see the clock tower and the tent. The tent has gone through some refinement over the years and now has lights and all of that. But I want to talk about the clock tower. We call it the clock tower. It's the old clock tower for the railroads that literally came through Spokane, and the railroad stations were at Riverfront Park, or what is now Riverfront Park. And a friend of mine, Jerry Quinn, was involved in about 1970, about 4 years before the World's Fair, which was in 1974, did a Save Our Stations campaign, and unfortunately was not able to save some beautiful architecture and some beautiful marble floors and other kinds of things in the stations, but was able to save the clock tower. And what would we be today when you think of Riverfront Park? My guess is 99% of you think of the clock tower. Well, this last week we had an opportunity to go down, and the Spokane City Parks Department in their group dedicated a plaque to Jerry Quinn for his work 50-some years ago. And so we're very, very pleased that we had a chance, in a little bit of drizzle and everything else, to honor Jerry for his long-term commitment to Spokane. Jerry's always been a railroad buff to start with, and had the railroad trains out at the fair out in the valley and so forth. And I'm so glad to see the city of Spokane honor Jerry Quinn for all his hard work over the years and continuing to leave us something that we all love dearly. Because how many times have you said, "Oh, I'll meet you at the clock tower"? Probably many times with families and so forth. So, well, we're going to take a quick break.
Yep.
And then we'll come back with a story. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, at River Ridge Hardware on the corner of Garland and Driscoll at 2803 West Garland with a wheelbarrow full of deals. I have RV antifreeze for all your summer toys that you got to put away for the winter at $3.99. I have rakes at $7.97, from plastic to metal rakes. Come on by, check them out. I also have shovels, from flat shovels to the digging up shovels at $7.97 also. Come on by and pick them up. And bird seed. It's a good time to start planting for your birds this winter that you want to keep fed. $14.97 for a big bag, 40-pound bag of bird seed. Not to mention, even the wheelbarrows on sale for $79.97. Come by and look at what we have in the garden center. Everything is 30% off on all the plants, 20% off on all the outdoor yard art. Good time to look for yard art for your mom for Christmas and pack it away in your closet. Come on by at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland. Call us at 509-328-0917 or shop us online at riverridgehardware.com.
Well, Connor, last week you had an interview with Mark Finney from World Relief and talked about the outstanding work they do to bring in those from other countries through the State Department and so forth, and learn about their organization. And then you conducted a second interview. Tell us about that, because this is kind of special.
So at first I did get to talk to Mark Finney, who kind of heads that organization, and he was a great interview. But yes, we did get the chance to talk to an actual refugee who came over. Her name was Rezwan, and she agreed to sit down and have a conversation about what's going on over there and possibly give some hope to other refugees who are nervous about coming over or who can't get out of the country. So
there's a lot of culture shock, isn't there? It would be the same for us to going to another country, but coming from Afghanistan, which has been for a number of years in a troubled area and so forth, but to come to our country and to do this, was it a fun interview?
It was a really interesting interview.
Good.
She had a very unique perspective because she'd been around to different countries, kind of trying to move with her family, make sure they were safe. So she was in Turkey at one point, and then she came over to Afghanistan, and then she had to leave from there. And you'll see in the interview, there's some pretty good stuff there. So if you want to,
let's
take a look at it right now.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us with this amazing interview. I have the opportunity to talk with Mike and Rezwan. They're both with the World Relief Organization, who we were just talking with Mark. Would you guys mind telling us a little bit about yourselves first? Mike is mostly here for translation.
Hi, my name is Mike Yavareci. I'm a resident of Spokane for past 18 years. I migrated here to United States close to 35 years ago. I was a refugee myself from Iran, and so that's what common element I have, with Rezwan. And I wanted, just to be here, and so we can share part of her story and her experience as Afghanis in Afghanistan and in Iran. She's been, in Iran, and she migrated here like 2 years ago, and she can tell, mostly. But I'm here mostly to help, with translation as well. So.
So this is Rezwan Mohammadi. I'm so happy today that you want to interview with me. But as he say, they're going to ask me question, and I'm going to answer the question with helping him.
Sure.
Okay, so I have a few here just so I can stay very specific with my words because I want to be as careful as possible. Rezwan, who did you come over with and who did you leave behind while you were in Afghanistan?
شما میخواین ترجمه کنید؟
با کی اومدید اینجا از افغانستان؟ از افغانستان که از
Actually, I'm from Afghanistan. My parents from Afghanistan, but I didn't born in Afghanistan. I was born in Iran and then traveled to Turkey, and then as a refugee, I came to the USA
Okay.
with my family.
So your family came with you, or
Yes.
okay, everybody came?
No. One of my brother and my sister live in Iran now, and when we came to the USA, so we had to ما مجبور شدیم که یکی از برادرامون تو ترکیه بمونه تا کاراش درست بشه.
One of her brothers staying in Turkey until his paperwork is done, and so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about how it felt separating from brother?
از برادرتون جدا شدین چطور بود؟
خیلی بد بود، یعنی از
It was
برادری که because we are refugee, we had to leave every time. I am a refugee born, my family leave Afghanistan because of war 4 years ago, and then we had to leave Iran and then leave Turkey. All of our lives is going by leaving. That is not easy for a human, but when you leave a part of your family member over there, that is so heartbreaking. And also I lose one of my brother, and I didn't see him for 17 years, almost 17 years. So that is so hard for my family. Now I know one of my brother came from Turkey to here, and we are happy. But the other one that lives in Afghanistan, we don't have any news about him. And all days my mom pray maybe one day he will come to us. So that is so hard.
Yeah, totally.
I don't want to cry, but now I am خیلی خودم میگیرم که گریه نکنم.
She's trying to not to cry.
چون ولی من میخوام امروز صدام برای همه چیز بشه، مردم افغانستان بشه.
She wants to speak, for most of Afghanis, and she wants to be strong. And
Yeah.
So.
For Afghan women,
Yeah.
for Afghan people, today I want to be the voice for them. Yes.
We really, again, appreciate
Yeah.
sitting down and having the conversation with us.
You're
It means a
welcome.
lot. And I'm sure it means a lot to people over there as well.
Yeah, it is. We all see what's happening. And especially for female gender of Afghani population, and is but is
اگر میخوان سوال درباره زنان رو بپرسن که
Sure. So what's your next question?
Okay, we can get back to it. What was the most difficult part about living in Afghanistan during both when the U.S. was not occupying and when the U.S. was occupying?
اون زندگی که شما توی افغانستان نکردین ولی خب میدونی مثلا کامپیر افغانستان قبل از چیز آمریکایی‌ها بعد از چیز آمریکایی‌ها تو 20 ساله گذشته.
من البته اگه برام اینجوری بگم بهتره.
Okay.
من افغانستان زندگی نکردم. I didn't live in Afghanistan before, but I worked for Afghan refugees in Turkey for 4 or 5 years. And I know a little bit their lives in Afghanistan for a woman. So all the world know the Taliban. If اگر طالبان بیان به کشور بزرگترین و مهمترین مشکل برای زنان افغانستان هستش.
So if Taliban is, since Taliban is taking over, it is difficult, for again, women overall, it would be very challenging for them.
به خاطر اینکه وقتی که US میلیتریش داخل افغانستان بود حداقل زنان میتونستن به مدرسه برن، میتونستن کاری شغلی رو که دوست دارن بگیرن، میتونستن آزادانه تو خیابون راه برن، ولی الان دیگه اون چیزو ندارن، اون اجازه رو ندارن که.
So as we are seeing, on TV, on news, Afghani women now, under Taliban rule, they are not as free as, while, it was, under U.S. occupation. And, I mean, like, just a very general, life, for a woman is very restricted now, versus, when US was, in charge.
برای مثال ما میتونیم مثلا بگیم که اینا به ما گفتن که اول خانوما میتونن به مدرسه برن ولی الان گفتن که فقط میتونن تا کلاس 6 به دخترها به مدرسه برن. این ایژوکیشن یکی از مهمترین مشکل زنان داخل افغانستان هستش.
So education is a very challenge, for them, and as we remember, Afghanis, Taliban, they said women can go to school, but now they are restricted to only up to 6th grade. And I mean, they're putting more restrictions and as we go forward, in Taliban.
یا برای کاراشون اگر بخوایم بگیم زنای افغانستان 20 سال درس نخوندن که الان بشینن تو خونه میخوام برن سر کارشون.
So it is, under U.S. again, occupation, Afghani women, they went to school for past, 18, 20 years, and now they're staying home and they don't know what to do. Is so.
Yes, they studied a lot and they don't want to now stay just at home. That is not freedom.
No.
Yes.
So
understanding correctly, it's the freedom has been the most difficult part of living under Taliban, the lack of freedom.
Well,
at large.
Connor, freedom is something that Taliban doesn't have a clue of what freedom is. Even with Afghani standards, not our standards here, with Afghani standards, and so. It's not really comparable, from what we hear on the news, and what this reminds me of, when we had, Ayatollahs in Iran. They took over, Iran 40 some years ago, and there were promises, given, and it was not, delivered, and there were more restrictions, based on, Islamic, laws, and then, like for instance, women, they had to wear scarf. And we, even, as male, we couldn't have, short sleeves at the very beginning of revolution and for first few years. So there are some similarities I see, but is Taliban is more fanatic, in that respect.
و اینم میدونیم که این الان اول کار طالبان. اگر الان میگم ما این کارا رو میکنیم فقط به خاطر اینکه الان دوربینا روشون هستش، ولی ما داریم اینو کم کم میبینیم که اینا دارن میرن به سمت همون چیزایی که خودشون میخوان انجام بدن. که فکر نکنم زنای امروز بتونن اون رو قبول کنن.
So it is, is essentially she is saying the same thing. They are going to tighten, the regulations, on Afghanis, especially on women, and because of, cameras are all over Afghanistan now.
Yeah.
So
I think they will start step by step.
Getting
For
more restrictive.
restriction,
Yes.
yeah, and so.
But I don't think so that Afghan women today, they will accept that
Restrictions.
things that they want. Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of the strategy they're going for, is a slow drip of restrictions? So it's just like, okay, maybe it's not so bad, just a little bit, and then that, I don't know, little bit adds up to a lot 5 to 6 years down the road.
Yeah, that's I mean, this is something, we are seeing, and, we'll see, where Afghanistan is, in 2 years from now. But is up to Afghanis, but that's, it seems like, the path.
Yeah. Okay.
Connor, just so you know, you're at about 11, 12 minutes.
Well, wait, that one's. What kind of future do you see for yourself now? Now that you've come to America, what sorts of things can you, not only can you do now, but where do you see your life? What direction do you see it heading?
شما بگید من
Yeah.
بجام.
از فکر میکنی که آیندت تو آمریکا چطور خواهد بود؟ و من یه مقداری هم میگم از این ارگانیزیشن اینجا هم بگیم.
بله. خب چطوری بگم؟ من وقتی که
Try to say
Okay.
it, yeah.
When I wanted to come to USA, when I was in the airplane, I think a lot, I thought a lot. We don't have any family member here. We don't know any people here. We don't have any information about the culture of here. So how is life will be for us here? But when you go از داخل وقتی میخوای بیای داخل سالن اونجایی که مثلا
airport,
میشه.
yeah.
When you go to airport and you see the person from Borderleaf waiting for you over there, that was for me like a light. I see my future that time because she opened the hug for you and براتون دیگه من اون موقع چیز شدم، یعنی روشنایی رو دیدم، فهمیدم که مثلا من یه نفر هستش اینجا که بهم کمک کنه.
So it is,
ولی اون فقط یه نفر نبوده. وقتی اومدیم داخل وردلیف رو دیدیم، یعنی چطوری بگم، انگار که ما یه فامیل جدیدی پیدا کردیم، یه زندگی جدید شروع شد برام.
essentially is a new chapter, for them. Once they arrived here and they saw people, staff, from World Relief, it just they found themselves, well, there is somebody here that they can count on, and.
Borderleaf, I want to talk a little bit about Borderleaf.
Yeah,
because Borderleaf is a good supporter for me and for my family. Borderleaf is not helping you with finding house or go to ESL classes or helping with transportation. Beside of this, Borderleaf is look like your family member, They are always with you because when you are in Turkey in the culture classes, they told you that the office over there, they just help you for 3 or 6 months, right? But when I came here, no. I'm here for 2 years, and until now, I have the supports from Borderleaf in my education. When I feel a little bit bad and I am a little bit emotionally, I just have a place to go there. That is Borderleaf. you know. The people who are working in World Relief, they are so kind, and they have in English 101 I learned a word that it says intimacy. You know, they have that intimacy. I trust them, and they always, until now, they always with me. My English is not very well, but I'm trying to say my feelings to you. And maybe last week they told me that we want you to work with us. When I see them, when I see that kindness in their faces, and they are working hard for refugees, why I told to myself, why I am not, if I can be a part of these kindnesses in this office, so why I cannot?
Why can't
So,
I?
Yeah. آره من چرا من نکنم؟
So she's asking herself, why don't I, help, World
Yes.
Relief and
So-
be part of this, organization?
Yes, I decided to come to World Relief and work with them because I want to be a part of their kindnesses.
Kindness, yes.
Yes.
And
And I want to try my best to refugees that they will come with them.
so
I want to talk a lot, but I know you
It's
don't
great.
have
It's
it.
great.
so, just one
یه چیزی بگم.
Sure.
بهشون بگین که من یعنی نمیتونم توی 10 دقیقه از ورد ریلیف برای شما بگم.
10 minutes is not enough, to
Yeah.
talk about
For
World
World
Relief,
Relief.
so
You know.
it is. But is Rezwan, خودتو کجا میتونی ببینی? Where can you see, 20 years from now in America? And I mean, as a 35 years ago, I mean, this nation has been open source, that you can achieve anything you want, and I have to thank our Constitution, our founders, that they established this system that we can all grow, and the sky is the limit. But
من
چون-
چون خودم چیز هستم، پناهنده بودم، یکی از آرزوهام این بودش که در آینده بتونم رشته‌مو تموم کنم، رشته‌ای که میخونم رو تموم کنم و بتونم به مردم افغانستان کمک کنم.
Sure.
برم اونجا، یا الان که دیگه نمیتونم فکر کنم برم، ولی کن یکی از آرزوام اینه که بتونم به مردم کمک کنم. میدونم رشته‌ای که انتخاب کردم رشته‌ای نیستش که من بتونم کمک کنم، ولی شاید من رشته‌مو عوض کنم به چطوری بگم، میجری که چیز بشه، به پناهنده کمک کنم. از وقتی که وارد ریلیف رو دیدم اینا.
So she is, trying to see she can be more helpful with, refugees and for years to come. And is so what major دارید شما میخونید؟
Dental hygienist.
She's, as dental hygienist, and so yeah, it is. I can tell you, in this nation, the way it is now, we can become anything we want.
ولی
So-
کن یکی از بزرگترین آرزوهای من این هستش که تو آینده میخوام انجام بدم کمک به مردم هستش. حالا هر رشته‌ای که انتخاب کردم انتخاب میکنم، ولی کن یکی از آرزوام و من اینو میبینم که من میتونم این کار کنم اینجا.
So she sees, a brighter future for herself and for years to come, and hopefully, she can achieve, what her dreams are.
زندگی سختی داشتیم قبل از اینکه به آمریکا بیایم، ولی کن از این به بعد میدونم که ما آینده خیلی روشنی داریم.
They had a difficult life in the past, but now they have hope that they can, have a better life here in America.
و اینم بهشون اضافه کنین که فقط برای من نه، با کمک ورد ریلیف ما آینده روشنی برای پناهنده‌ای که میخوایم آماده کنیم براشون.
So with world relief help, those that are coming here as refugee and they're settling here, they have hopefully they have a good experience. That's
So we are I'm not just see my bright future, so we will do our best with world relief to make a bright life for the people who will come to the Spokane.
That's great.
Yeah. So because of that, we need your helps.
We are kind of running short on time,
Sure.
but is there anything else that you think is really important for people to know that we haven't already touched on? The floor is yours.
Well, چیز دیگه می‌خوایم بگین بعد در مورد
مرسی.
افغانستان خانم‌های افغانی مخصوصاً اگه مثلا پیغامی داری برای خانم‌های افغانستان. That's my message for Afghani women.
So I can just tell to Afghan women that don't afraid. Today our voice is our weapon. So we will fight. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. I really appreciate it, Reshwan. Your English is better than you think it is. It is not bad at all. And you're going to be a great dental hygienist because your teeth are very straight.
Thank you so much.
So we appreciate the time. Thank you guys for listening to our full interview. We really appreciate you listening in. Stay safe and goodbye for now.
If you want to get involved, whether that's volunteering, we're accepting donations both of goods and materials that folks need when they first move here, like kitchen supplies, and financial contributions are also really helpful. So you can visit us at www.worldrelief.com/Spokane to get more information about the work we do and also specifically about our work with Afghan refugees.
Well, that was a very interesting interview. We thank you for tuning in. If there are any more stories you would like us to cover in the community that we don't already cover here, you can email us at info@spokanetalks.com for more stories. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.